We've got new rumors to discuss with the New York Jets ahead of the Tuesday, November 4th NFL trade deadline, a special guest, and so much more. Boy Green Daily starts now.
I'm going to lose my gosh darn bananas. Boy Green Daily starts now. Zoinks!
Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Let's go!
Put your seatbelts on. Get ready for the ride. We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Paul Leston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your podcast. We'll be joined in just a moment by our special guest, but first, a quick plug. If you are a Boy Green Coffee Club member, that is the YouTube membership group for this channel, well, then you guys got a special treat yesterday evening. The one and only Mike Greenberg, ESPN personality, New York Times best-selling author, joined me yesterday for a special bonus episode of Boy Green Daily. If you'd like to watch that full 30-minute interview with Mike Greenberg, make sure you join the Boy Green Coffee Club. That's a pinned comment right now on youtube.com/BoyGreen25. A terrific conversation, a legend, an icon, and quite frankly, my idol. The reason I even got into this business as a former sports talk radio host. So salute to Mike Greenberg. My second time speaking with him during my career, and it's great to catch up with him. He is the author of this brand new book, Got Your Legends. Mike Greenberg, Hembo, ranking America's sports franchises and their most iconic figures, including the Mount Rushmore for the New York Jets. We can get to that on the show as well today. Let's welcome in our special guest every Friday, and he is also an award-winning author. Let's get to him. It's Bob Lederer, baby, here on a Friday. Good morning, Bob.
Hey, did you find any of those gosh darn bananas?
I haven't, but I did find that flannel, and wow, that really brings out the color in your eyes, Bob.
Wait till I take my glasses off. It'll be like a sunbeam.
Oh, baby. So, Bob, good morning. Welcome to the program, and shout out to everyone who's coming into the room. Make sure you guys like the video and hit subscribe on YouTube. We are also streaming live on my Facebook page at BoyGreen25. That's still a thing, and at BoyGreen25 on Twitter, which we appreciate as well. We got a update on all the trade rumors floating around. Let's go to Connor Hughes, our NFL insider from SNY. Important to note as the Jets trade deadline approaches that this is not a fire sale. They have players who are available, as is usually the case when new regimes take over. Any deal would be fair compensation, the Jets' price, not pennies on the dollar. Teams call and continue to call on guys like Breece Hall, Jermaine Johnson, Will McDonald, Michael Carter, Quinnen Williams, Quincy Williams. But that's the vibe they're getting from those conversations. Some league sources wonder if they would be more willing for the Jets to give in negotiations if they fall to 0-8 with a loss to the Cincinnati Bengals, although that remains to be seen. Week 8, the Jets play the Cincinnati Bengals, and then next week, of course, is their bye week. Bob, what's your response to this latest report from Connor Hughes?
No, same names.
Yep.
I don't think going 0-8 is going to change any of their negotiating positions.
Me either.
That doesn't make sense. Ultimately, it's going to be very interesting to see what the Jets do value each of these players or how much they value them.
Mm-hmm.
Out of that list, I mean, I would think Jermaine Johnson's probably the top player if they're willing to deal him. But I think I agree with what you said, I think on Wednesday, and that is you're going to have to give me a heck of a lot to get Jermaine Johnson. I'm not trading him for a second-round draft pick. I mean, even a second round and a fifth round. I mean, that's ridiculous. You can't replace a guy who has that kind of talent. And, he is like, and take this in the right way.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at him, I think that Aaron Glenn sees, as he sees in Michael Clemens, a great physical specimen.
Mm-hmm.
With Clemens, he has to really mold him into a really better football player. But Jermaine Johnson's, a long way already in that direction. I don't know what they're going to get from Michael Carter. Everything I've heard is not much.
Yeah.
I think he is going to get dealt for a bag of balls.
Yep.
Because his contract, does have clauses at the end of the year that basically the Jets or whatever team who takes him can get out of pretty easily.
Mhm.
I don't think Quinnen Williams is going anywhere. I was surprised by the reports I've seen this week of how little,
Yeah.
relatively speaking, he's valued a second round pick. I mean, come
No
on.
way.
This guy is basically an all league tackle.
Yeah.
And if he wasn't on a crappy team or a team with a crappy record,
Yeah.
he'd be an all league tackle. He'd be going to the Pro Bowl every year.
He's 27. Like, what are we talking about?
And he's under contract.
Correct. Multiple years.
Yeah. So you don't have to worry about that. And that in itself should significantly boost his value and what they should be able to get for him. But again, I wouldn't trade him. I mean, that's kind of pound silly. It's pound foolish. It doesn't make any sense. Quincy, contract year.
Yep.
I think another team would like to see what he looks like when he comes back from the injury.
Sure.
So he's not coming back this week, is he?
There is a very high likelihood he does. Now, we'll have to see. He was activated off IR, which means that they have 3 weeks to evaluate him. So, technically speaking, he doesn't have to come back this week, and he may not. But from all the understanding of the reporting prior to him, or just as he was getting placed on IR, is that he should be out the exact amount of time, which was the 4 games missed. So there is some positive optimism that he will be able to play this week against the Bengals. But I agree with you that any new buyer for a potential Quincy Williams package, well, they're going to want to take that car out for a spin to trade. If he doesn't play this week, he can't play next week. It's a bye week. So someone's going to buy the Quincy Williams car off the lot, but they're not going to see how it looks considering the injury. That seems hard to believe.
Yeah, I think the only team that would really be in the sweepstakes for McDonald would be the 49ers because their defensive coaching staff knows them so well.
Right.
And they already have picked up a couple of ex-Jets this year and have shown no reluctance to bring them on board and give them a look.
Right.
I think they're going to trade Brees, and I think we're going to be all not happy with what they end up getting for Brees, because I think Brees, behind a good offensive line, is a terrific running back, and so you have to look team by team and say, well, good offensive line or not, that makes Brees Hall more valuable to them. Everyone's talking about San Diego being in a desperate need. Right. For running back. So maybe that's where he's going. I don't know. Yeah. You run the show, so you do what you want to do. But one of the things I would really like to talk about this week, not just myself, but the callers in and such, is where does this team for this year alone, where do we go from here? Okay. We're not going to win many games. I'm one of those guys who's going 0-17, baby. Let's lock up that first pick and make sure we can get who we really want. I've always been that way. If you're going to be bad, be really bad. There's no sense being mediocre. And 2 or 3 wins would make us right in the middle of 5 or 6 probably, and flipping a coin or being in some decider situation as to where we draft. So I'd rather be in the driver's seat. But where do we go as a team this year? I mean, they released a pool or poll yesterday, if not the day before.
Yeah, it was last night.
And they brought in another tackle, and clearly, what that really means is they gave him a good long look on the practice squad, and they determined there's not much we can do with this guy. He's not going to get significantly better to the point where we could ever rely on him in the near-term future to play offensive line for us or to be a backup offensive lineman. And I've always been this way since, again, my early years when I was watching football for the first time, and that is at the end of the year. And the Jets, I want to just remind you, when I started watching them, they were 5-8-1, 3 consecutive years, 63, 64, and 65. 5-8-1.
That's consistent.
And you'd get the impression they weren't getting better. Well, they were getting better because they've been picking up a lot of good college players, and Weeb and the staff, small as it was working hard and developing players into really good professionals. But by Thanksgiving time, and it was pretty clear to me in most years that the Jets were not going to go anywhere, because in those days At first base, it was first place or bust until I think the last year was 67 when they decided to have wild card teams. So they had a wild card team from the West and a wild card team, actually, yeah, just one in each. So anyway, actually, now I'm going to correct that. It was the year after the Jets won the Super Bowl. So at a late stage of the season, my thought as a young person was, well, okay, how do they get better? What can they do this year to get better? What kind of personnel is out there? I don't have any, really good answers. And I guess that's why I'm kind of throwing it out there for you and everybody else in the Boy Green, territory. And so let's see what happens. But I'm still looking at Sunday's game.
Yeah.
And I, despite what everybody is saying, I think we got a shot there. I really do. Because if the defense plays well again, well, maybe we can get 9 points. In fact, now that we've seen like 2 or 3 games or 2 out of the last 3 games that they've decided not to go for a field goal early in the game, and later in the game, that 3 points would have meant something. Maybe they'll start to play that way instead of just saying, well, let's be aggressive 4th and 5 and let's see what we can do. No, let's try to win a football game. That's where I'm standing. There will be trades, obviously, out of those 6 or 7 players. Maybe they'll trade 1, maybe they'll trade 2 at the most. I'd be surprised. But Paul, what do you make of these recurring remarks about the Jets are inquiring about kick returners from other teams? They're going to trade draft capital, any kind of draft capital, for a kick returner. I mean, come on.
That seems strange. Also, when the report came out, Kene Nguanu had just returned and looked amazing. He had a 74-yard return the week that was reported. So, game happens, report on Saturday from NFL insider Diana Rossini, and I was like, that's peculiar. I know Kene doesn't stay healthy, and we've already experienced that. Now he's back in the concussion protocol and could miss this week. So, I guess that's a thing. But, it just sort of sounds like rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. With all due respect, the Jets are 0-7, and no team in NFL history has ever come back from 0-7 to make the playoffs. So, sure, I guess I'm saying there's a chance, but I don't know if kick return is the first brick that I'm stacking in the historic return of that sort of endeavor. So that was sort of bizarre. I don't know if it's to your point, right? You talked about we might be underwhelmed by the return potentially of Breece Hall if the Jets trade him. Is it one of those situations? I'm not sure. Have you ever seen the movie Draft Day, Bob Lederer?
Oh, yeah.
Kevin Costner. Oh, okay. Well, then you're going to love this reference, right? They're on the negotiations. It's the Jets, let's say, in the Chargers. Chargers we want Breece Hall, and we'll give you a 5th round pick. And the Jets are in a big group setting, and they mute the call. What else do we need? What else do we need? Someone goes, Putney, get Putney. He's like, yeah. All right, unmute Putney. Give us Putney. They're like, what? Where did that come from? It doesn't matter where it came from. Give us Putney. So maybe that's how they get a kick returner. It just, it looks like it was going to be a 5th round pick for Breece. Now it's 5th round pick and Putney. They get that kick returner thrown into the deal. That to me would make a lot more sense than just straight up just making calls. Where's the kick returner? We'll give up a pick.
Agree. You got to have some inside information about some of these guys.
Yeah.
I mean, again, that's why the 49ers would be interested in some ex-Jets, because they know about them. They know about them as players, as what they do well, as where their weaknesses were when they were coaching them. What their value may ultimately be. And here's where scouting, professional scouting, and college scouting really comes into play. And I rarely hear in professional football circles about the Jets or anybody else's scouts who are interested in player X because, when they scouted him 2 years ago when he was at the University of Cucamonga, he really was outstanding, and we wanted to draft him in the 7th round, but we didn't. Who really knows? But this is where uncovering, pearls, really can happen. Now, it's not going to happen very often. They might take a gander at 10 different players, and maybe one of them is going to be good enough to make the roster next year. But right now, if you're not one of the Jets' standout players and playing every week, everybody else on the practice squad and even the backups, now are playing what amounts to the last game of the preseason, because you got to show what you can do. And if you can't show what you can do, you're not playing for this year, but you're playing for next year. So it's really a depressing situation, but it's also a situation that could be turned into something very positive. It's not going to be, you're not going to find that starting quarterback as the third stringer on some other team.
Probably
but
not.
You might find some serviceable players. If nothing else, you might find some guys who are really good at special teams. And there's obviously a great value to that. So
there's no question about it. Hey, by the way, I see Craig Hatch just joined the Boy Green Coffee Club. Welcome to the Army, Craig. Raffle ticket for a contest this month, and you now have access to, again, our interview with Mike Greenberg yesterday. So feel free to enjoy that. Not in the middle of this show. Come on, we're in the middle.
I hope you asked Mike Greenberg about Matt Snell.
I immediately got that comment from Hep because the interview got posted.
Thank you, Hep.
Yeah. So, yep, old Hep.
I don't think he did. I sent him 2 books. I sent one up to Bristol and one to their studios down on the west side of Manhattan. And I never heard bupkis from them. And I was really surprised because here's Mike Greenberg. Everyone knows what a great Jets fan he is.
Yeah, sure. Right.
And I understand he was busy, but I didn't ask him to read a book overnight.
That's also true.
I sent it to him when the book came out in early September. But anyway, neither here nor there.
And that's what I told Hef. Hef asked, we need to get some books over to Greeny. I'm like, I'm pretty sure Bob already sent 2 to Greeny.
Well, I mean, and that's 5 years ago.
Well,
I wouldn't send him another one without him being aware that I was going to send it to him.
Correct.
So that he would be on the lookout, hopefully, or at least pay attention.
Right. So it doesn't get lost in the sauce.
I mean, I'll tell you the story. When I sent books to WFAN.
Sure.
And the book came across the desk of Beningo.
Oh,
Beningo said this on the air.
Oh, all right.
Beningo said, who is this Bob Lederer guy? And, his cohort said, neither here or there. And Beningo says, we got to talk to this guy. And he said, why? He talked to Matt Snell. Nobody talks to Matt Snell. Matt Snell talked to him for this book. I was looking through it. And Matt had some things to say. So, you have to kind of raise their interest in something in order to get their full attention, to it. So anyway, I wanted to also make a comment to you about your gosh darn bananas.
Sure. Yeah.
You can have all of mine for the foreseeable future because my doctor this week basically took me off a banana.
That's a damn shame, Bob. Yeah.
Right. Well, it is, but it'll mean more for you.
That's a good point, and I like that. And you want to know who else is getting more bananas? It is, to what you just said earlier, Jermaine Johnson. There's some good news on the Jermaine Johnson thing. I'm going to be honest, before this good news I'm about to share, there was a lot of disconcerting news that Connor Hughes reported that not only have the Jets been taking calls on Jermaine Johnson, they've been actively making calls where they've just been randomly calling, and I'm making this part of it up, right? They just call up the Carolina Panthers and say, hey, Jermaine Johnson's available, interested? Like that level of activity normally indicates like some aggression, like, oh my goodness, are they going to move this guy? Well, this good news suggests that won't be happening. Shout out to ESPN's Rich Samini and also Nick Ferry, who joins us every Monday. I saw Nick Ferry talk to Jermaine Johnson locker room too. But Jermaine Johnson, who has been hearing these trade rumors, went to the front office and goes, yo, what gives? What's going on here? And he received quote unquote clarity from the team. And he told Rich, I'm definitely wanted here. I want to stay here. That's been understood. Hence the tweet. The tweet he sent out was from the movie The Wolf of Wall Street, where it quoted the line, I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. I'm not bleeping leaving. And that got a lot of Jet fans excited. So it's good to know the full context of it. So apparently the front office must have informed him that he's not going anywhere and they're just rumors. So thank God, because I'm a big fan of Jermaine Johnson, and the reported value apparently that's out there for Jermaine is something I'm not interested in anyway, let alone, again, I didn't want to trade him. So really positive news here for Jermaine. So again, I received some disconcerting news earlier in the week about the Jets' activity on the phone lines. I'm like, oh boy, I hope that's not true. And it looks like that all got shut down, thankfully.
Well, the only team that I think that might even come close to giving him trade value again would be the 49ers, because they have demonstrated
Sure.
in recent years that they're willing to pay heavily to get the player who fits their need, and obviously a very good player. I mean, McCaffrey is the best example in their situation. And of course, Robert Saleh knows Jermaine Johnson better than any other defensive coordinator in the league. But I don't think that even the 49ers could place the kind of premium on a defensive lineman that they would for a running back or a wide receiver.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think that holds them back from doing that.
That's probably true. Although, to your point, Robert Saleh having an inside man who knows anything and everything about Jermaine as part of the regime, obviously, that drafted him. I think that part of it as well.
And they've been very happy with the way he's done it. This year. It's ironic that he's doing a terrific job out there, and our former interim head coach is doing a really good DC job down in Atlanta. Yeah,
Todd Bowles is doing great in Tampa Bay. So apparently, the Elixir is leaving the Jets immediately. And good things happen. So go figure.
And here's another point about everybody that's rumored to be traded.
Yeah. Okay.
And every other player too. We can't be thinking just about this year. True. You have to think about what could these players do next year. And again, this is what the coaching staff is only aware of. Mm-hmm. If player X, is working on this one particular thing that he needs to vastly improve, the Jets coaching staff should have a pretty good idea. Well, if he works on it with us and over the offseason, whether it's stamina, whether it's bull rushing, whether it's, doing anything else, that you need to do in order to be out there for, 4 plays, on every series, then you have somebody you have to really look at and say, okay, is he going to be better than anybody we could draft? Where theoretically, unless the guy is a superstar, we'd have to start from scratch and teach him the pro essentials all over again. I mean, I found it interesting this week, and I think you probably did too. And again, it's a baseball reference, but the San Francisco Giants hiring the head baseball coach, from a college team is amazing. And my first thought was, I don't care if this guy is the second coming of John McGraw.
Yeah.
Getting him to coach and deal with major league players who have contracts, who basically will look at him and say, I get paid more than you. The 26th player on the team is probably going to get paid more than he is the manager. So that's going to be a fascinating thing to watch.
There's no question about it. And Philly Noodles dipped his toe into the waters of some of which you're swimming here.
Wow.
There are a lot of people upset about all the trade rumors that are floating around there. And Philly Noodles has a special message for those fans. For the tiers of fans for losing potentially Breece Hall and Will McDonald, it's going to be okay. And the overall message I hear from Jet fans, because they've been upset by Breece Hall rumors, Will McDonald rumors, and other rumors out there, it's like, hey, we lost with them. We can lose without them. Us attaching ourselves to these players that naturally we get connected to.
I mean, I want them to lose every game on the rest of the year.
Yeah,
but I'm not. We can lose with them, and we can. It's like, again, baseball analogy. Ralph Kiner comes back to the Pirates after the 53 season, and he has to deal with Branch Rickey, who is notoriously very cheap. And the Pirates had finished last again. And Ricky said to him exactly what you just quoted. We lost with you. We finished last with you last year. We can finish last with you without you next year.
And again, I've heard that a lot. I think for some players, we can have some of those conversations, but I don't think that's a general sense we can have for everybody because, there are players that are going to be, to your point, I think that you could discover their value. They're here for, the rental players. Okay, those feel like a separate bucket of players we're talking about here,
right?
That there's a strong chance they may not be back. So get something for them as opposed to nothing. But guys have multiple years on their deals, which would be Will McDonald, which would be Jermaine Johnson, which would be Quinnen Williams, among these other players. That's the one where I wouldn't be too rash in the middle of a season that we happen to be losing now. These trades don't happen in a vacuum of 2025. It's the future of the franchise for guys that are going to be here for multiple years. So I think that's
getting back to my philosophy that I'm espousing here. Look at a deal we made at Cincinnati, which, take this the right way, Paul. Even you immediately said this could really be a steal. And by the looks of it, it is a steal because they got a guy who really can tackle and can play the position. And yeah, he had a weakness, and that was he was penalty prone. Has he had a penalty yet since he came?
I don't think so.
I don't think
well,
so.
actually, he may have had one on special teams, but besides that, he has been fairly clean. Yeah.
So, I mean, there's an example of, a who that you pick up for virtually nothing. You have somebody that you can pencil in to be part of the ongoing, roster build.
Yeah, which to me is exciting. So to your point, let's get back to your question before we get to the fans. Like, basically, what do you do now? You're 0-7. Again, your chance of making the playoffs, despite what is mathematically still possible, is 0. So that's not going to happen. The Jets are not going to immediately turn around and win 10 games.
I guess the 12-win prediction.
I think that's off the table at this point.
Okay. I give you credit for admitting that.
Yeah. So that one's off the table for sure. Yeah. That's the kind of guy I am. I can admit things every once in a while when a gun's forced to my head and I have no other choice but to agree with it. And so with that reality happening, I think the positives are what you said, right? So Jarvis Brownlee, he looks like a player. Juwan Briggs on the defensive line, who Darren Muji also traded for. He looks like a player. Harrison Phillips, I love this quote. It's one of my favorite. I should have gotten the video ready to play, but I'll just paraphrase him. He was asked about the defensive play being so good the last 2 weeks. Wow, you've held opponents to 13 points. Like, man, is that something to sort of like pat you got your guys' self on the back for? You turn that around. And Harrison said, absolutely not. Mm-hmm. He said, we're you know what, you guys say, and he's pointing to the media, that we held them to 13 points. That's pretty impressive. I say that was enough to win. Can we hold them to 10 points? Can we hold them to 7 points? Can we hold them to 3 points? Can we shut them out? That's where our mindset is. We're not complacent with the success that you guys are touting us of having. And man, what a leader. This guy just randomly joins a team before the year via trade. And man, and while it hasn't obviously translated to wins yet, I just love that mentality. And I think that's infectious to his teammates.
Yeah, a veteran player is not there just to play and just to, look over the scoreboard and say, oh, we're only losing by a little. He's there to win the game.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, that's how he's going to get paid going forward. Mm-hmm. And he's actually, he's got a pretty good contract. So I think he has at least one more year.
He does after this season, right? So through 2026.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's hard for us to evaluate. I've tried to watch him to evaluate how well he's doing, but he's playing in tandem, with Quinnen.
Correct. And what's his role, right? Like, on certain plays, I'm sure he's trying to, oh boy, on this package, I'm clearly rushing the passer. On this other package, I'm just holding guys up and opening things up for Quinnen or opening things up for my linebackers behind me. So that's another thing that I don't have quite that level of nuance on a play-to-play basis to know what his responsibilities are.
You also have to know that as
a fact,
right. which the defensive, coaches, when they go to the film room, recognize, okay, now on this play, each, and that's how finely tuned the coaching is, that they watch each player in the films and see what did they do or not do that they were supposed to do on each play. Because that's a big part of analyzing, how good a player you've got. First of all, can he follow instructions? Mm-hmm. Okay, up here. And secondly, is he physically able to do what we're being asked him to do? And if not, why not?
Yeah. Before we get to the phone lines, I'm going to go back to old Greenberg's book here. And you already gave your Mount Rushmore for the Jets, Bob, very early on over the summer when we brought this up. So basically what this book is that Mount Rushmore is for every professional sports franchise for all the major sports. And there's something like 125 or something in here. And then every Mount Rushmore for them. The Mount Rushmore that Greeny and Hembo put together for our New York Jets is Joe Namath, of course, Joe Klecko, Don Maynard, and Darrelle Revis.
Really?
Those were the four that he had making it. And then at the end, Greeny was running out of time, but at the end he said, Paul, like, he wanted me to guess, but I already read the books. I had already read them. And he said, is there any debate? And we didn't have a lot of time, so I couldn't go too deep. And I said, Curtis Martin isn't on this list. Some people would argue for Weeb Eubank. Some people would argue for the offensive linemen, whether it's Nick Mangold, Kevin Mawai, Winston Hill, to go back there. So, like, there's the only one I was able to talk to him, debate back and forth with with was Curtis Martin because we didn't have
Yeah, I
more
mean, I
time.
love all four of those players. I don't know how you leave Curtis Martin off there.
That's what I told him. I said, how in the hell do you leave him off there? And he tried to walk me through that. Namath has to be on there, and I agree with that. 100% he has to be on there. I said you had to have a representation of the New York Stock Exchange, and Joe Klecko, he's the one in the Hall of Fame, so fine. You want to put him in there. And then I said, Don Maynard does not get enough love from Jet fans. So normally when people spit out Mount Rushmore's to me of the Jets, I never hear Don Maynard, but I always argue like, man, you guys should at least make him more part of the conversation. And he mentioned that because of his representation from the Super Bowl team and being the best player,
He probably heard from his dad that Don Maynard was a damn good wide receiver.
That's probably true. I don't know if Greeny would have been able to sort of put that together as a 58-year-old, whatever he is now. I don't know if he would have been able to put those marbles together. And then he said Revis is the best individual like defensive player that's ever been seen. And I went, well, okay, well, I guess that's your case for it. But yeah, he said it broke his heart to keep Curtis Martin off. But man, Curtis, what a Hall of Fame human and a Hall of Fame player. That one was tough for me. That one was tough.
Don't turn your back, Mike, because Curtis is coming after you.
100%, as he should be, for God's sakes. How does he get left off the book?
Hey, what do you make of the quarterback quandary going on right now? With it sounded like Tyrod was going to be the guy, but Tyrod now has been on the injury report a couple of days. Today, I guess we'll find out.
Yes.
And the second part of it, hey, if they have to put Fields back in, is he going to be so mentally damaged from being, first of all, benched and secondly criticized by Woody Johnson, who is the all-knowing football expert, that he'll be unable to go in wholeheartedly and give his all?
Sure.
What a bunch of claptrap. I was astonished by that. And maybe we should start our third string quarterback. Let's find out what he can do. Well, that's for game 17 against Buffalo.
Yeah.
When you got nothing to play for and nothing to lose, and you're playing against all second stringers. So let's see what he can do against people of his own capability. But
the quarterback drama. Yeah. Before we get into that, I do just want to say, Craig Hatch says, does Bob have an emoji? Bob is great. Well, Craig, I'm glad. First off, welcome to the Boy Green Coffee Club. And number two, Bob is great. He does not have an emoji yet. It's, I guess, him and Philly Noodles are the ones that we're trying to see who's next in the emoji pile. So we'll check in on that.
Is this Craig. Is this like being on Mount Jetmore?
100%. That is it.
Oh,
It is being immortalized in emoji cartoon form. So when someone gets selected, you meet with basically our graphic designer, and you guys work on what you want the emoji to look like. So yeah, so actually it's a wonderful endeavor. We'll have to see if that ends up coming next.
As long as you don't see the top of my head, there will be a lot to see.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this on the quarterback thing. It looks like Tyrod Taylor's going to be okay. The knee thing, while he's been listed on the injury report, is just residual knee stuff that he's had since the offseason. So that's nothing to worry about. He's going to be ready to go. I think ultimately what it is, and people can debate about this, and they have, about the gamesmanship element. Rich Cimini reported that Tyrod Taylor is going to be starting on Sunday from everything he's heard. And AG doesn't want to admit that. Fine. Maybe he'll admit it today, and we'll see it on the final injury report, which is press conference coming up in a couple hours, or he can hold it to Sunday. The fact of the matter is it's going to be Tyrod Taylor. I would understand the unbelievable irony and everything else if Justin Fields somehow trotted out on that field after everything Woody Johnson said. And he said, like, man, mentally, how do you go out there? Well, mentally, he's destroyed the last two games. I don't know how it could possibly get worse. So hopefully it's a rallying cry on the other side. Like the world, everyone's against me, even my own owner's against me. Maybe I could prove that there's something there. That would be my hope. But I fully expect Tyrod Taylor being the guy. I don't mind the gamesmanship coming there from AG. Again, I don't know if the Cincinnati Bengals are staying up late at night going, oh my gosh, is it Tyrod Taylor or Justin Fields? I'm not exactly sure those nightmares are happening in the state of Ohio, but if the Jets believe they get any hint of an advantage that way, they're 0-7. They can use every advantage that they can get. So if AG believes there's an advantage here, then God bless America. Let's go. But I fully expect Tyrod Taylor.
I vividly remember before the season that we talked about how far will the Jets go with Fields if he doesn't play well.
Sure.
And the consensus was all the way.
Yes.
Take him through the season. So I'm actually, I'm not upset by it, but I'm really surprised that they've given up, or they seem to have given up, And all I can conclude is that even in practice, they can't get him to do what they want him to do as far as getting rid of as I said last week, and I won't use the word again, get rid of the football, throw it.
That was a
But
momentous moment. Yeah.
I again, as the king of never having played organized football,
Sure.
I would send him home early from practice and say, hey, our backup center is going with you, and we're sending one of our practice squad receivers. And all you're going to do between now and tomorrow is take 500 snaps from center, turn and throw the ball in less than 2 seconds. That's all you're going to do. And the wide receiver will be lined up in different positions, and you're just going to mentally deal with what you have to do, because that's what you have to do. If you don't think the offensive line is going to hold up, and I don't really blame the offensive line for most.
Oh God, yeah.
But he has to get rid of. They have to run plays. This is also the coordinator's responsibility. They got to run players with quick hitters, and we've seen they can get a running back open over the middle real quick, and the tight end, and now that Garrett Wilson is not there, I don't know. The defense is probably going to spread itself out and not be too concerned about if they try to throw it wide as to what might happen. But I just don't understand how this quarterback can have such a mental block that he won't get rid of the ball.
It's confounding. It is absolutely confounding. And again, even the example in the Panthers game, which is why, so to your point, go back to the offseason of like, man, how much leash does Justin have just in case things don't go wrong? And I was among that group, like, you got to just ride Justin out for the season. You give him $30 million guaranteed.
Yeah.
Well, he's here for this year and likely next year. Like, why? Like, what do you have to? And Tyrod's 36. Like, he's not suddenly going to find a spark.
He's the future in the backyard of his grandkids.
Correct. Not for the New York Jets. So I felt that way. However, I've had a change of opinion. Like, Justin something's wrong with Justin right now. So I don't know if sitting on the bench will cure it. I'm sure if Justin is benched, as Ritsamini reports, I don't believe we've seen the last of Justin Fields in a Jets uniform. Tyrod can't stay healthy, so Justin's going to probably be back out there at some point.
None of us would be shocked if he became unhealthy again this week.
Sure. Yeah, right. So that's totally possible.
I got to tell you, you wouldn't be amazed at the Chicago papers, the Chicago Sun-Times, which is a tabloid, and every day they are devoting almost a full page to an AP or some other syndicated service story about Fields, and a big picture of Fields. Fields a disaster. Jets are a disaster, with Fields. Fields is now 0-7. I mean, day after day after day. And it just shows you there's something about the guy that does attract attention.
No question.
It's the wrong kind of attention. But, some people believe that as far as PR goes, and this is not a PR, situation.
Yeah.
Even bad PR is better than no
That's
PR.
what they say. That's what I've always been told. Any publicity is good publicity. But Justin may contest that based on the latest storyline.
And he's been a pro. I think we've all heard that after last Sunday's game.
Yeah.
The Jets PR staff tried to basically rush him out of
They did.
Q&A, and he said, "Hey, I'm here. Ask your questions."
100%. And I said this a couple days ago. I want to repeat it right now. That it would have been very easy. Hey, like AG on one of his press conferences, there's someone off camera. You guys don't see this person, but you'll hear him say 2 more, 1 more. Yeah. And then normally they stick to whatever that guy says. So AG at the end of his press conference, after the side guy said 1 more, and AG answered the 1 more, AG was at the podium and about to walk off, and a young lady in the back just starts to ask another question. And the side person goes, "Hey, no more." So AG was listening, about to answer it, and then the side person said, "No more. Questions are done. Sorry, lady."
Well, I'm sorry. AG could easily overrule.
He could have. He didn't, and he walked off. But that's what I was saying, to go back to Justin, right? The media person is trying to usher him out. It's an awkward situation. He was benched at halftime. The fact that he did any media, let alone, was sort of surprising. So the fact that he told the guy, "Hey, he turned to the guy, had a conversation real quick, said, "I'm good. I'll continue to answer the questions." Massive tip of the cap. One of my biggest pet peeves in today's society is sports figures are all willing after an overtime win to say, "Hey, who wants to talk to me? I've got headlines galore." And then when they lose, and a player that comes to mind is AJ
The,
Brown.
the only thing that
he
I
skips
wish,
out.
and I'm sure you agree with me totally, is I
Sure.
wish that Justin Fields had an answer to some of the questions
Well,
that he's being asked. And
right, yeah.
Boy, I'd love to talk to a psychiatrist after sitting down with Justin Fields and say, okay, so what happened to him when he was 8 years old that has put him in this situation?
Because that's what I'm saying.
In all seriousness, I heard on TV a former pro player, I forget who it was, who said, listen, in college, at Michigan, he didn't have to do a lot of the things he has to do as a pro.
It's at Ohio State for Justin.
Yeah, Ohio State. I'm sorry, and he had great talent around him on the offensive line. He had 3 terrific collegiate receivers, including Garrett, and the kid who plays on Atlanta now, Olave.
Oh, that's at New Orleans. Yeah.
Oh, okay, New Orleans.
Yeah.
And all he had to do was hand the ball off and maybe just throw to a wide receiver because they were so good. And that's how this guy said he believes that he never really learned, how to process from this guy to this guy to this guy, because he didn't have to. Because again, he's playing against boys. He wasn't playing against men. So anyway, whatever it is, but I just love to find out what the problem is. He's in his 5th year now?
He is. Yep.
How in the world some of these things have not been correctable? So
yeah, and I would just say in closing, then we'll answer super chat, then get to the phone lines. The thing why I went from Justin's got the longest leash in the world, he's good for the season, to not, is that I've just seen too many moments, and it happened again in Carolina. The Jets understand that Justin is in his own head right now. So what they tried to help him out is with the screen, which I haven't run a lot of those this season. Justin
screen. What's that?
I don't even know what language. Am I pronouncing it right? Is it scron? I'm not sure. So Justin in the Panthers game hikes the ball and immediately turns to his right, and it just supposed to throw it. It's hike, 1 step, throw.
Yeah.
And Arian Smith, right? So hikes the ball, he looks. Arian Smith fakes it, comes back for the screen, and his hands are open. He's wide open. And Justin looks at him and looks at him and looks at him. And he gets sacked. And the Jet fans are like, what in the world just happened? He was open. You just got to throw the screen. You're not reading a defense saying, it's a cover this, cover. It's throw him the ball and hopefully breaks a tackle and makes a play. And Justin held on to it, got sacked. And in that moment, I went, okay, it's over at least for now. Because again, Tyrod's health, he's going to come back in there at some point. He needs to sit and try to, the sports psychiatrist or God knows whoever is employed by the Jets, to unpack that and try to see what the hell is going on. Because in that moment, I'm like, he's just not seeing it. There's dark clouds in the brain. I don't know what the weather forecast is, but it's murky. And he needs to get out of it. So
when I played, the few times I tried to play, I'm a giant like you.
Yeah.
One of the few times that I tried to play on the sandlots.
Yeah.
And everybody got a chance to play quarterback. Mm-hmm. And it was my turn to play quarterback, and I got no protection whatsoever from the 3 guys in front of me. Mm-hmm. And even I learned, take the snap, and I would immediately turn and throw it before I get clobbered.
Which, there you go. And Taylor is questioning it, saying, BG, number 7 was blitzing from the nickel on that play right into the throwing lane. If Justin would have thrown that, could have been a pick 6. I thought that initially when I'm doing the play-by-play watch party on this projector screen, but I went back and saw it. Absolutely not. He totally could have gotten that ball off. It would have been a screen play, and who knows what can happen after you break a tackle. But anyway,
did you agree with me that part of this could be the play calling, Paul?
Well, possibly, but just like, again, and I'm not a big all-22 guy. I allow others in our universe to do that much better than I can. But it seems like guys are open. So is it both? Right? That's always the golden answer, that there's not just one singular person to blame. But Justin is playing so much in his head right now that I have to blame the quarterback. Now, here's the thing, right? Tyrod plays this week. If he immediately puts up 20, 25 points, we're like, well, guess what's the quarterback? Because, like, what other explanation will there be?
Before the season started, and I vividly recall Indy called in, and I said, Hey, what are you going to do when they sack the box?
Yeah.
Because he can't throw. Oh, I can't wait for that to happen because he'll hit the tight end, or he'll hit the running back, or he'll hit this guy, that guy. And I went, what happened? You know,
Yeah, that's a
why
fair
doesn't that
question.
happen? Yeah.
Well, we'll open up the phone lines next real quick. Let's go to Paul Texter with the super chat.
Wow.
This would be the case to potentially trade it. Thank you for the $5 super chat, Paul Taxter. You are well within our top 5 of our raffle leaderboard down below, so appreciate that. You're in third place in raffle tickets. Jermaine Johnson always seems to be out for an injury, so if you were to try to convince yourself to potentially move on for Jermaine, is yes. He had the Achilles. That was very serious. This year he's battled calf/ankle. The Jets have called it both injuries over the last couple of weeks, but now he's come back and he looks really good. Is that thought process is that he can't stay on the field, and that's an issue. So, Paul, I can't disagree. You look at the full picture here, the full canvas for Jermaine, and there has been injuries included, but man, he's just such a talented player that I'm willing to one devastating injury, and that's just unfortunate circumstance. And then this year he's missed a couple of games, but he was healthy in other parts.
I think you have to wonder whether these injuries this year are related to him compensating for coming back from the Achilles.
100%, which could totally be, part of the gravitas there, or part of the conversation, the nucleus, so that him overcompensating one injury. When you're coming back, you're really working, like, again, I don't remember which ankle it was, but right, he's working on his right ankle to come back, and then his left ankle, it doesn't have the same physicalness that the right one had, so then that could lead to all kinds of problems. So totally possible that could totally be in the ethos. All right, let's do this. Let's open up the phone lines, and you guys can ask all your questions to Bob Lederer yourself. Let's go.
1, 2, 3. Whoa! Bugging daily, bugging daily, bugging daily. Talking Jets football, man. All right. Bugging daily, bugging daily, bugging daily. The New York Jets football club. Offense, defense, special teams, watch Jets football with Boy Green. Everyone, J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets. Boy Green, bugging daily, bugging daily, bugging daily. Talking Jets football, man. All right. Boy Green, bugging daily, bugging daily, bugging daily. Nice. Offense, defense, special teams, watch Jets football with Boy Green. J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets. Let's go!
Let's go, baby. Also, a shout out. We put this up in our YouTube shorts. A new video angle of Hep in the middle of his singing has been released. Shout out to Lou B, Super Jets fan. He said, "Hey, Boy Green, did you check that text?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "I sent you another angle." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "All right." And I looked at it and went, phenomenal. That brings us to much better times in the Jets universe. So I'm all about it, baby. So absolutely terrific. Shout out to Lou B, Super Jets fan, for that. And also shout out to the 300 people in the room. Like the video, hit subscribe. That's a free way to contribute to our program and get this Jet show in front of other Jet fans out there in the universe. We're hovering around 8,100 subscribers, and we're trying to add even more to the pile. Also, feel free to get those super chats and memberships going. Here are our raffle prizes for this month. The official 1975 yearbook cover. Shout out to Joey Matesic for sending that in. We've got the Woody Boy Green tailgate package, which includes a t-shirt, koozie, Jets coaster, bottle openers. We have that vintage New York Jets NFL Combine authentic long sleeve with a hood, and a random vintage Jets player t-shirt blast in the past. All those items will be gifted on November 1st. To be eligible, all you have to do is spend $3 on the channel for a raffle ticket. There are no limits to how many raffle tickets you can purchase. Bob, we get this every once in a while where I start seeing the alert on the top of the screen, and it says, you guys can literally take no more callers in the room because you're at maximum people. So we have 10 people that are waiting to call into this show, Bob. So blessed.
And it's no one from my family.
Yeah, not that I can see. Although I don't have a 23andMe in my family tree in front of me, so we'll have to double check that later. So
trust me, it's no one from my family.
So we have 10 callers and more trying to get into the room. So we will get to all of you. It seems like a fiery bunch.
I must have hit a chord on something today.
Definitely. I definitely blame you for this, Bob. There's no question about it. So we're here on October 24th. We're 8 in the morning. So, folks, let's get to all of your calls here on the program. Up first, Hepster.
Hey, Jeff.
All right, I'll keep it quick. I thought the interview yesterday was great, Paul. You
Thank
really
you.
did. Yeah, you did great. It was really good to see that with Greeny. That was really fun. The only thing was I kept screaming. I said, "Mention Matt Snell! Mention Matt Snell!" And
Yeah, and I was trying to figure out, to be honest, because you've asked me, and a few other people said, like when they overheard that I was going to be getting to do an interview with Greeny, it wasn't going to be live because of his time availability. But I went like, how do I work this in? How do I? Hey, speaking of your book, Greeny, which I'm promoting here on the book. Hey, Matt Snell. Do you know about that situation? No, I don't. Oh
Hey,
well, okay.
Paul,
Let me give you the background and things of that nature. So I
Paul,
really got to get him in contact with Bob.
did
Yeah.
you get in touch with him through a third party or directly to him?
So third party. I know his people.
Okay. Can you contact his people and say, hey, did you ever hear of this book? And explain Snell. And actually, I think the most interesting part of the book is the thing I've talked about, where on the sidelines in the first quarter, the Jets discovered Baltimore was using the same offensive system as they were. And hey, did you ever hear anything about that? Because it's in this book that was published a few years ago, and we'd love to, the author would love to send you a copy, but only if you're really going to take a look at it.
Yeah, right. So I think that's the best way to do it, because like I said, in the middle of the interview, I was thinking of like, man, how do I bring this up succinctly, but in a way that he may understand or not just immediately turn off. I'm like, hey, Matt's out. And then he's just like,
He's there to sell his book, and God bless him.
Yeah, for sure.
I would have said this. I would have been like, because he mentioned his Mount Rushmore of players.
Maybe that was the time, right? Hey, what about Matt Snell? What do you think about him?
No, not Matt Snell, because he's not really a Mount Rushmore. But I would have said he didn't mention Sonny Warblin, and that's how I know he didn't read the book, because Sonny Warblin was the architect behind the Super Bowl III, and that was he's the guy that's the thing that Greeny probably doesn't know about.
And that's why I put Weeb up there, because he created and carried out the plan.
And he was very creative in this book, Got Your Legends, where, again, he's picking Mount Rushmore for all these teams. They weren't just players. He had coaches, he had owners, he had broadcasters, if they were significant enough, like uniquely in their history. So, yeah, in the book that's sitting to the right of me, he got creative with a bunch of those names.
Yeah,
so,
you could have said something like, there's a thing on my show. We got this thing going on. We're trying to get Matt Snell, to come back home. What do you think? Do you know the Matt Snell situation?
Yeah, so I'll see if I can do some homework on that and see. And it's plus we got another one of these, and I think that'll be another golden opportunity too. Is every anniversary of Super Bowl III is another a reason to have Bob on these shows to promote his and those are more opportunities as well. So I think it's another natural thing that's coming up that I think we'll be able to get Bob some more media time for his book, and hopefully to stir up the Matt Snell situation.
Now, a quick thing on Justin Fields. From the beginning of the season, I would add an air horn on the side of on the sidelines and count 1, 2, 3. Bump, you're sacked.
Yeah.
And just do it all the time.
Yeah.
So he feels it,
And they're smart. I'm sure they've tried something akin to that.
Maybe.
I can't imagine they haven't. But I think even in the offseason, because these guys have to stay in shape during the offseason, and a quarterback has to really pick up more cerebrally. As well as physically, and that would be the thing to really focus on, because that's clearly, his shortcoming. He's got all the physical tools.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll tell you, Hef, that my coach did it in high school. So he lined up. So we would have the offensive line, we'd have the quarterback, and he didn't have an air horn, but he just had he just held up his hand like a handgun. And so we 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, because he would just start screaming, bang, bang, you're getting shot, bang, make a decision, and Jesus, let's go. And so I just, that's just so vivid in my mind of a rainy football practice, and he just he would do that all the time to have it in your mind. And oh my God,
this is dangerous. We could be named the new offensive coordinators next year.
Yeah,
the 3 of us.
Thanks, guys.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Hef. The Hefster. Great. All right, let's get. We got a lot of calls, so we're going to try to get to everyone here on the program. Let's keep this train rolling. Who's next here in line? All right, Badshaw's up next. Badshaw.
Oh,
hey, Badshaw.
Hey, Bob. So you were saying earlier with Jermaine Johnson, how he was basically posted the Wolf of Wall Street, I'm not going anywhere, So today I woke up It's my 5-year anniversary, and I wake my wife up, and I'm like,
Congratulations.
I'm
Yes,
like,
man.
I ain't going fucking nowhere. Like, we are going to be doing this for 5 more years, hopefully 5 more after that, and just keep them rolling, baby. But
Yeah.
that was kind of my mojo this morning. You know, I'm like, let's fucking go. I'm like, I'm looking forward to this Bengals game. You know, I think we really have a shot. You got to stay positive. I know there's a lot of ways you could look at it and say we going to get our asses kicked, but at the end of the day, if we're going to win some games this year, it's going to be some of these next few games that we've got. So,
Sauce is okay, Paul, for this week?
He doesn't look okay actually at all with the concussion protocol. He looks like he's going to be out. We'll get another injury report update from AG. I'm not feeling very good at all about
Opportunity for another young guy to prove himself.
Potentially. And I would also say this because we have Batch on the screen that, he gave a shout out to his mom earlier this week, which was pretty cool. And I came across it on Instagram. And there's some pictures that Badshaw posted here. So I want to pop these up on the screen here. This is Badshaw and his mama. Look at all these different versions of Badshaw here.
Badshaw,
like,
what
look at that young guy. Look at that. Look at that.
Dang, man, those are, yeah.
Look at these. Wow.
Gosh.
Yeah, look at that little Badshaw. Wow.
Well, and we kind of joke around with her because she's got really tiny hands. And I had a TV that I bought years ago, and it was mounted to the wall, and she was the only person who could reach her little hand. Like if we ever had to take it off the wall or something, I'd have to call my mom. You know, usually you call like your dad or somebody for like heavy lifting, and I'm like, Mom, I need your little hands. So she'd come and unscrew the TV so we could take it off the wall or whatever and mess with it behind it and whatnot. But
I bet she's a fast typist.
Oh yeah. She kind of reminds me, if y'all have ever seen Deadpool, when he loses his arm and it's starting to grow back, and he's like, my hands are the size of a KFC Sport. That's kind of how my mom is. But yeah, she's great. I love her. We got to take her out for dinner yesterday. Taking her to we're going to take her to Universal here in February. So
nice.
We haven't told her that yet. So looking forward to that. But yeah, man, she's great. I never would have gotten to do all the things Jets related if it wasn't for her. And we went my first Jets game we went to, because I live close to Nashville, so we went to a lot of Titans games. Sure. It was freezing. We had really bad seats, but we sat up there and froze our asses off together. Yeah. And then she took me to the Brett Favre Tennessee Titans game where they were
2008. Yeah.
Yep. And then the Mark Sanchez comeback against the Houston Texans in New York.
Oh, what a great game.
And, so I owe a lot to her. And so big shout out to her. Big shout out to my wife.
There she is, baby. 5 years. Let's go.
And I swear, guys, I won't call in every time and give people shout outs. It's just October is a busy month for me. But one of my best memories with my wife was last year after we got our first win against the Tennessee Titans. And we were riding on a scooter together. She was on my lap, and we were riding on this little tiny sidewalk, and I was trying not to wreck and us get a video of it. But we had a really good time. And that was her first Jets victory she got to ever see. Hopefully it won't be the last one, but anyway, but y'all were talking about Mount Rushmore's.
Sure.
And I think I know if we were going to do like a Boy Green Daily, Mount Rushmore.
Oh, okay, good.
And so now I'm leaving you out, Paul, because it's like your show. So I'm
right.
Saying
That doesn't make any sense. 100%. Leave me out. Who are the four? Yeah, give it to me.
Okay. So number one, and like I said, this is my opinion.
Okay.
You got to have Jared B. Jared B, the Lord of the Discord. You know, I believe he's battling Blue Waffle right now.
Oh yeah, we've all been there. Yeah.
Yeah. So please prayers for Jared. But anyway, so number one, Jared, you got to have Hop on Pop. I mean, God bless BG. Sure. I mean, you ain't going to be here without Pop.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
true.
You've got to do the voice of Boy Green Daily, which you're the voice, but you got to have Hef too.
How do you not have Hep on there? That's true.
Yeah, yep. I mean, especially, Hef, he's got plenty of stuff running the Playboy Mansion.
Sure.
If he takes time to get on this show and make up so we've got Hef, and then last, you got to have Chef Kev, the food of Boy Green Daily.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
So that's my Mount Rushmore.
So you left Bob off. So you hate Bob, is what you're saying.
Bob is like the Friday. Like Bob's been coming around here lately. You never know. He might start dethroning people. This might turn into Game of Thrones.
Oh,
and
wow.
Bob, Bob's scheming and plotting, and he's knocking people off and whatnot. And you got to watch out for Bob. Yeah, I see you, Bob.
Yeah,
I won't do it. I won't do it with my physical prowess. I'll tell you that.
Okay. All right.
Well, maybe he'll be more like what's his name? Littlefinger. I can't think of his name on the show.
Peter Baelish. Yes.
Peter Baelish. Maybe you'll be like scheming and turning people against each other, and So definitely love Bob on Fridays. And anyway, I've ranted long enough. I'll let you get to other callers, but I appreciate you.
What did you say?
There we go.
My wife just made a comment. I wanted to repeat it because I didn't hear it the first time. Somebody commented in the chat that I look like their grandfather. That's okay.
There you go. That's not bad. All right. Well,
at least I'm still alive and kicking.
Okay, there you go. Well, Badshaw, congratulations on 5 years, buddy. Shout out to Yo Mama. And again, now we've got to keep it rolling. So give us your Boy Green Daily Mount Rushmore. Who are the people on the Mount Rushmore side? Badshaw didn't give a lick about Bob here. Didn't even make it on his Mount Rushmore. That's incredibly disrespectful. So we'll see who else's Mount Rushmores are coming up here and who's next. All right, here we go. All right. This guy's got to give a Mount Rushmore. All right, Indy, what do we got?
Hey, Indy, how about all those passes to the tight end and the running back when they rush?
You want me? Okay, you want to start there? We'll start there, Bob.
Boy. Here we go.
I just hope your wife's certified in CPR after you get done with this.
She just left. So now you really got a shot. Go ahead.
Okay, so you've got to blame. I've got to put the blame on Aaron Glenn and Tanner for this. Justin Fields is mentally destroyed, and you watch him play. Kind of reminds you of like when David Carr would come back out on the field. If you remember David Carr, where they failed him is instead of continuing to allow him to be who he was and then just add some things, allowed him to do what he did good, and then continue and build off of a quarterback, a pocket quarterback. They completely tried to change the kid. So you took away what he did well and made him and forced him, in essence, to do what he does not do well. And I have to say, Bob, that was really disrespectful of saying Justin Fields from Michigan, because I'm a Michigan fan. So you cannot mix.
That's a big snafu there. That's a pretty big snafu. I mean, it's not like you said Tennessee. Like you're like,
right. That's what kept you off.
Like, whoa.
Indy, you got to understand. I mix up Army and Navy.
Oh, that's not good either.
It's even worse.
I think that comment's what kept you off the Mount Rushmore.
That's very fair. That's a fair challenge.
But I'm climbing up. I'm still climbing up.
Maybe. All right, Indy, here's the Mount Rushmore. Give it to me right now. Boy Green Daily Mount Rushmore. Who's on it?
Well, here's what I'm going to say. Badshaw nailed it.
Okay.
So I can't even argue with anything Badshaw had to say.
Okay, nice.
All right. Absolutely, Badshaw just nailed it perfectly. I was coming up with my 4 as he's saying it, and literally about in the same order. So A+ to Badshaw,
No
just getting right.
no campaigning for yourself, Indy, to put yourself.
Oh
on
no,
the Mount
no,
Rushmore?
no! I'm not. I am not Hep worthy. I'm not Pop worthy. I am not Mount Rushmore worthy. I'm just a visitor. Paying. Coming in and viewing the greatness is all I am. So
okay, all right.
but absolutely, Badshaw. Shout out to Mom. Mom Shaw or whatever. Mama Badshaw and
Sure.
and his lovely wife. Boy, after meeting those two, I really feel for her having to put up with Badshaw because he's tough.
Yeah, he clearly outkicked his coverage. There's no question.
Well,
let's just sort of lay it straight. Yeah.
But A+ to her. Yeah,
Yes.
they what a great couple they are, and I look forward to them.
Awesome.
They'll be here in Charlotte here, and the end of the weekend before Thanksgiving. So we're gonna go take them to Dilworth's and have a good time there. And so, but yeah, Bob, to go back to it, I really think that Justin Fields is mentally checked out, and I think he's okay with it. And when you watch him in his press conferences and so forth, he's got a really deep faith.
Of course.
Okay. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. And I think his faith is obviously his faith in God is far above his faith in football. And he's kind of mentally checked out of football. And that's okay. For Justin Fields
I don't know
for Justin Fields as a man, but as a football player, I don't want to see the kid.
He's getting paid $30 million to be the best professional football player he can be. So the faith has to be something that he can inject into, his professional football capability. Let me respond a little bit to what you just said about what Glenn and Tanner Engstrom have done. Think about it. Glenn said at the beginning of the preseason, this guy has never been allowed to really play quarterback. And so you're right. They tried to make a transformation of him from whatever he already was, because he was workable. He was helpful to Pittsburgh last year, and he never played this badly. Everybody here in Chicago keeps looking at what's going on and saying, we knew he wasn't really our quarterback of the future, but he was never as bad as he's playing in New York. And I think psychologically, what they've tried to do this year might have been in the long term helpful. In fact, if Fields takes this to the off season, and assuming he's going to be back next year because of what they'd have to pay him if they don't, that maybe this is just a building block, and maybe it's going to take a while for that building block to set into place, but maybe they're going to get rid of him, and then we're going to have another Geno Smith and Sam Darnold and whatever transformation somewhere else.
Which may happen because Rich Cimini on his podcast this week said that he is not so sure Justin's coming back next year, and thus, so Justin would go somewhere else, I imagine, and the Jets would get their own version of some other bridge veteran quarterback to be there to pair with the rookie. So that could once again happen. We'll see.
Yeah. And I agree. I don't think he'll be back next year. I don't know if he'll be back in the NFL next year.
What?
Hold on. Justin Fields is I went on the previous topic. Justin Fields his faith is very deep.
Sure.
And it always has been. He was like that in Ohio State.
100%. He's been consistent with that. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's not going to allow football to turn him into something that to turn him negative. And I think Fields is the type of guy, at least with his mentality, he would step away from football before he would allow it to destroy him. And that's why when he's up there at the podium and he's talking, you can see it in his face. It's not that he doesn't care. It's that he's just starting to check out of football. And, he wants to play, but the kid he's starting to check out of football because you can see that the football is starting to destroy the man that he is. And I think that, I followed Fields. Now, I will have to say, Bob, you made a comment about Fields at Ohio State and how he didn't play It was, Ohio State was so good
At
that they didn't.
Michigan. Yeah.
Yeah, at Michigan, but he didn't play. The Ohio State was so good that he didn't have to struggle with that. And I would say that the Michigan defense was one of the top 2 or 3 in the country the year Fields destroyed them. So they were just that good. But you don't get that luxury in the NFL.
No, I just remember watching him in, it was a Citrus Bowl or whatever it was his senior year. And because, he was one of the handful of quarterbacks that was coming out that could have been Jets and such. Mm-hmm. And I watched for a half, and he never had to look to a second receiver. He just didn't. No. And that was a big thing that everybody here pointed out when the Bears drafted him. And oh no, that's not true. And I looked at it again and said, he's never having to look at a second receiver. And that's going to hurt in the pros because you just can't be that, focused. But speaking of focused, Clemens for Hall of Fame?
Yeah, well, if they're gonna talk about trading JJ and trading Will McDonald, and what, I don't know what Jet fan would even conceivably think that would be a good idea, just based off of that moves Michael Clemens to the number 1 spot. I mean, come on, you trade 1 or 2 of them, that leaves you with your best defensive end, Michael Clemens. That in itself should secure Will McDonald and JJ on this team, forever. But right, yeah. if you're advocating for a trade for Will McDonald, or if you're advocating taking a JJ trade and getting a first and a third or whatever you want to get, just understand that you're promoting Michael Clemens back to a starting role and probably to the number 1 defensive end. And there's not a single Jets fan in this world that would say that's a good idea. So if that's the case, Michael Clemens to the Hall of Fame, baby.
Okay. There he is. Wow, Michael Clemens. Love it.
I wish Indy had opinions about stuff,
Yeah.
Really inject something into this show.
That's a little bit of a criticism, He's got to put himself out there just a little bit more. Hey, maybe if he did, he'd be on the Mount Rushmore.
Love you, Indy.
Sorry, pal. All right, let's go back to the phone lines, baby. Up next, let's stay in that region of the United States of America. It's a Friday, so Philly noodles, baby. Gracious has
good morning.
Okay, 2 things, Philly, before you get started.
Yeah.
I can't wear my hat. I can't wear my hat backwards because look what it would do to my quad.
I see.
Yeah, it's well clogged up there.
And it also covers up my head, the top of my head, which might be a positive. But I'm going to have a little vanity here and say, no, I got to do it this way. Your hero is Dennis Quaid?
Yeah, Dennis Quaid.
Is Indy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I'm with you.
I still can't believe he has the budget to get such a film star to bless us with calls every day here.
Well, he can afford me once a week. So, that's where the rest of the money's going.
Factor that in for sure.
So we already hit that. I wrote down 7 things. First thing I want to start off real quick with is Bob, your flannel. It is popping today.
100%.
So the hat, you don't need the hat going
back.
I
haven't even gotten up and given you a full view.
Oh, please do. Yeah, shout out to Dennis Quaid.
Yeah,
big salute to Dennis.
I see it. I see it.
Yeah, you can definitely see it now.
The voice.
Yeah.
Real quick, we'll go over.
Yeah, can you give us that flannel, Bob? Yeah, go ahead. Give it to us here. What do we got?
Look at that.
Okay. All right. There you go.
Eyes-eye style,
Yeah, very picnic
Does anybody have red eyes?
Not that I'm aware of. Maybe. I guess it's possible. No, go ahead, Phil.
Well, let me run through these 7 real quick. So Justin Fields, remember the old Maybelline commercial? Maybe he's born with it. Maybe it's CTE. Maybe it's coming. Like we didn't notice it, and it's just creeping up early. Right. My son has dyslexia for numbers. Maybe he has that. He's counting down 3, 2, 1 to get rid of the ball.
That's another. That makes sense. Okay.
Before we can wish for Matt Snell, we need 1 win on the season. I hate to say it, guys.
Okay.
I need that.
Okay. Fair enough. Yep.
I don't think the OC is the problem. If he would have just hit Garrett Wilson on a pass and not destroyed his knee, we could have already had a win here with a field goal late. That happened a couple of times this season.
That did.
And it was AG's fault for a couple of calls there, obviously.
Yeah.
The 49ers, I just looked at their schedule. It's pretty soft, so I don't think Will McDonald will be a thing they have to be burdened with to go get, but it would be interesting if they do. Well, I doubt it.
Okay.
Fields is just never going to be a Geno Baker, Sam Darnold guy.
It doesn't seem like it, right? It doesn't.
Never say never.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
And the last thing to mention with Indy, what he said, Indy, my guy.
Yeah.
You know, Fields' faith is so strong, it cannot beat the Namath soulless deal he made with the devil. So that's really what's going on. Like, all signs point to Fields being too faithful. Like, his godliness can't beat the devilness and the satanic deal that Namath made for the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
that's the science of it.
One other thought about Fields, and that is, this is not a shot, but with the $40 million that he's going to get in the bank from the Jets this year and next year, he never made big money, obviously, with the Bears, because rookie quarterbacks don't make a lot of money.
Sure.
And I think Pittsburgh picked him up on the remainder of his rookie contract.
Dirt cheap.
So he's going to be comfortable for a very long time, and that it has to help him mentally and psychologically.
Well, he's only walking away with half that, right? Because
so 30 million. So the number is he signed a 2-year deal for 40 million, quote unquote, but 30 million of that 40 is guaranteed. So yes, he's walking away with 30, not the full 40. Correct.
But then
minus New Jersey taxes.
Yeah. Well, fair enough. That's true. Yeah.
That's why those prices are always going to be higher. So technically, he's really like what, a $16 million contract.
Probably, yeah. If you do all the math, right? Yeah.
Yeah. If you really want to take it that route, so in their mind, he's like, all right, he took a cheap deal with us anyway.
But I mean, it is cheap.
Got a good manager. If he has a good manager, that money is going to go a long way.
Invest it, yeah, and there
I
you
think
go.
He will. He's got strong family and everything. I think honestly, though, I can accept what has gone on with him.
Okay.
It sucks, but if we get this to get whatever quarterback it's going to be, again, they knew this was in the cards. It could fail them. They knew this could happen. We were built for this shit. Like shit. We're used to shit.
Well, yeah, they didn't have a lot of options coming into this year. What were they going to do? Because I don't at all dispute getting rid of Rodgers, because they wanted to start building a foundation for the future.
Sure. Yeah.
And Aaron Rodgers is not going to be that, unless you wanted to let him play for the year with the understanding he was going to become the quarterback coach and he was going to help you, bring this next person, out. So who knows?
And supposedly, he was always okay with that with Zach. He was, but it's like he took himself out of the game last year. I don't want that person in my locker room.
Fair enough.
So I've always been okay with that. But thank you for letting me get off these napkin thoughts.
Yeah, you did. Napkin notes. That looks a lot better than the one we received from Bill Belichick. So thank you very much for that. Philly, what is your Boy Green Daily Mount Rushmore? Who does it include?
Man. All right, so if I got to be critical, and it's not to say I'm taking something away from this human being, but I would probably move Pops because he's such a staple, like Bob Lederer.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna say for callers.
Okay, yeah,
just callers. Okay. I'm gonna go Hep.
Yep.
You got to give me Indy.
Okay.
Batshaw.
Yep.
Allen.
Okay.
And. I'm gonna toss up between Easy or oh my God, how do I? Jesus, Easy or I'm losing the last person. I'll just put Easy there because I forgot the last person.
All right, so let's go through them again. So first off, let's start off
number
with
one.
Who do we got? Okay. So Indy on there.
Let's put Indy.
Okay. All right,
I want my face on Indy's earring.
Okay, and then let's go
number two.
Let's go Batshaw.
Okay, here we
go. Number three.
Allen.
Okay.
And number four.
Hep.
Okay, there you go. What a
very strong.
Very strong. Very strong. Okay, I like it.
You got to sit out. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Appreciate it. Thank you, Philly. There
Good
you go.
weekend, Philly.
Here we go. We'll continue to get these Mount Rushmores. Well, let's go to one of those Mount Rushmores. Hall of Famer Alon joins us here on the show, who made it inside the
number five.
Inside for Philly. Made it inside the top 5 of the Mount Rushmore. Very nice.
Philly, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I wouldn't consider myself top 4. I'm number 1, so it doesn't make a difference. Couple of comments. First of all, he mentioned
all ours.
Yeah, that's right.
Of course, absolutely. Dennis Quaid is 71 years old and his wife is 34. Okay, he is number one. Thank you very much.
Dennis Quaid's wife.
His wife is gorgeous. It's his fourth wife, but she's gorgeous.
Okay? Oh wow, that is a. I didn't know we had a Mount Rushmore of Dennis Quaid wives. I did not know that was an option. Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Couple of comments. First of all, I could not agree with Bob more on his 0-17 chatter. I listen to Jet fans who say, "Oh, I don't want to be embarrassed to be 0-17. There's not been an 0-17 ever." Again, if we're 1-16 and 2-15,
there have been 0-17s.
No, there have not.
No.
0-16.
Yeah, 0-16 twice.
Yeah.
The Lions were one of those.
Yes, 2008.
0-16. Yes.
And then Cleveland 2016. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good Lord, have mercy.
She's hot.
Dennis Quaid. All right. God bless
Laura
America,
Savoy,
buddy.
I think her name is Laura Savoy.
Yeah, that's right. Fourth time's the charm. Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. God bless.
Okay. Again, whether you're 1-16 or you're 2-15, the Jets are a joke anyhow, so it doesn't make a difference. They're 0-17. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
As far as 0-17 is concerned, all I want is I want the regime gone. Okay. Mm-hmm. And the only way the regime is gone to me is if this team completely bottoms out. Okay. I don't want Woody to make his decision based on 1 win or 2 wins. I want this team to go 0-17, so he has no decision. He has to get rid of the coach. He has to get rid of the regime. And I don't want this regime to pick their next quarterback. I just have no confidence. It's become a clown show every week. You listen to Aaron's press conferences, you just don't understand what's coming out of his mouth. I mean, the whole chatter of I'm not going to say who the quarterback is.
We have a quarterback.
Oh yeah, he did say that specifically. He did.
Cincinnati is going to destroy this team on Sunday.
What?
Destroy him. Okay.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
you don't think so?
I wouldn't.
First win of the season, baby.
I wouldn't say we're definitely going to win, but I don't think
3 touchdowns, Bobby. No Sauce. Chase and Higgins are going to have a field day on Sunday. Field day.
Alon, last time I checked, Brandon Stevens isn't on the injury report.
Yeah,
okay, buddy?
Great. Yeah. He'll be looking 5 yards in front of him. Okay.
By the way, there's a quick super chat question for you, Alon. Let's work this in.
Wow.
If I did find the blue waffle, it would never be returned. Okay.
Okay, there you go. So,
Alon, what did you think? What did you think? Because I was appalled this week. I read one mock draft said that the Jets really like Moore because he is accurate.
Yeah, Dante Moore.
After all the hubbub the week before about Mendoza by every other scout out there, is that just typical of what?
Yeah, first of all, I think Dante Moore is going to return to school. I think there was talk already that he signed a huge NIL deal in Oregon. So I think he's going to make $5-6 million next year to go back.
And it may be some of these guys who thinking that the Jets are going to draft them may say, "Don't draft me. I'm not coming to play for you."
I think Mendoza will come out, and I think if the Jets have the number 1 pick, I think he'll be the guy. Or Sellers, Mendoza or Sellers.
Indiana kid, yeah.
Yeah. Again, if I was Sellers, I would transfer to Indiana just to play the final year. Either him or Lagway should go be under the tutelage of Signetti. It would be a perfect match.
All right.
Couple other comments. First of all, on the Breece Hall situation, I keep hearing people say, "Oh, I would trade him for a 4th, but not a 5th." Again, you're going to trade him for 20 cents on the dollar no matter what. I don't give a shit. It's a 4th or a 5th. Breece Hall is not going to be a Jet next year. Get what you can. And I keep hearing people say, "Oh, you can get the comp pick." People throw the comp pick out like it's nothing. First of all, the Jets have about $60-70 million in cap space. If Breece somehow signs for 10-11 million elsewhere, you don't think the Jets are going to recoup that and basically sign somebody else? I mean, it's ridiculous. That's such a lazy take. Okay.
Did you remove the Chargers because of you said you were mentioning Kamani Vidal last night?
I didn't remove him. I think they would go get him. Honestly, if I were the Bears, that would be the guy I'd want to team with.
Sure.
With Swift, I think it makes a lot of sense to play.
Their other running back had a big week last week.
Who?
Oh, Manungai.
Oh yes, the Rutgers kid. Yeah.
From Rutgers, but
yep.
Again, I'm shocked that Breece is playing this week. As I said last week, Paul, He got hurt last week. You don't think he's going to get hurt again this week? You never know. It could happen. Okay. And finally, let's go back to revisionist history. Again, did I want Aaron Glenn to come here? I did, because I hated all the other candidates. There was not one candidate I wanted out there. You knew I loved Ben Johnson. That was the guy I wanted, but I knew he was never coming. The same thing with Clint Kingsbury wasn't coming, and Liam Cohen wasn't coming. The problem I have with what's happened with Glenn is I don't understand why the 33rd team gave him that much power. I don't understand why you're giving a guy who has no head coaching abilities or head coaching experience that much power. I mean, he's the coach, he's the GM, he's the one that doled out the $30 million to Justin Fields. I never understood why he was given that much power. And as far as Fields is concerned, I was fine with the 1-year deal at $12 million for Fields. I just wanted them to get out of the contract after 1 year. I never thought they were going to give him $40 million at $30 million guaranteed. I thought it was asinine. And people like, oh, Pittsburgh was never going to give him $30 million guaranteed. Never.
Yeah. If he gets cut as Rich Cimini predicts, it would be $22 million in dead cap next year.
Yeah. So think about this. They're going to have to next year's cap. You have Rodgers at $35 million and Fields at $22 million. So that's $57 million for guys who there's a good chance both will not be here. And finally, what Indy Jets said about Fields is absolutely correct. Quarterbacks eat, breathe, and sleep the position. I mean, you listen to Josh Allen talk, or you listen to Joe Burrow talk, or you listen to Patrick Mahomes talk.
Obsessed.
And then you listen to Justin Fields talk. Justin Fields is happy to be in the NFL. If he stepped away next year, I don't think it really would bother him, honestly. He's made his money. He doesn't seem like he has that passion to be great on the next level as an NFL quarterback. So again, is there a better chance? Is there a good chance he won't be in the NFL next year? There is a chance. I would not be surprised if he isn't. I wouldn't.
It'd be hard to see somebody signing him as a backup. Maybe Baltimore. Maybe.
Yeah, right. I guess Cooper Rush didn't really work out. But
hey, Alon, what is your favorite memory of Esapole?
And man, and here's the thing for people who forget, right? So final roster cuts happen. Again, there's always an initial 53 and a final 53. Jets have an initial 53. And then they claim 2 guys from the Kansas City Chiefs on waivers, Cam Jones, the linebacker, and Esapole. And I heard from Chiefs people, oh my God, we lost Esapole. We wanted Esapole back.
He was great in preseason.
He was.
Could get around him.
He was. He's 6'7". He's this massive dude. And these Chiefs people said, man, the Jets got away with one. And then Jet fans like, ooh, we stole one for the Chiefs. And there was all this hubbub. But Esapole was the only player on the Jets roster that's been inactive for every single game of the season. He was the only player to have accomplished that feat. So pour one out for the Esapole memories.
And as piss poor as the coaching has been over the years with this franchise, to me, player development and scouting development has been even worse. Again, you see players around the league, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th rounders making contributions. This team, after the 2nd round, again, they fall asleep. They don't do much. It's awful. And
it's amazing. I don't know who their college scouts are, but whoever they are awful.
Not great.
Again,
that can be the only explanation, because ultimately they feed the information to the general manager, and the general manager will then, talk to his professional scouts, and they'll look at video, whatever. But whoever is making these recommendations, clear the deck.
Not good. Now, I interviewed Greeny yesterday, and he claims to be the world's foremost authority on all matters. But if there is a guy who's tied for first or second, it's Alon. So, Alon, we need your Mount Rushmore of Boy Green Daily.
Number 4.
I'm going to take a different stance on this because
okay,
I love chatting in the chat more so than listening to people on the phone. No offense. I can't stand listening to your father. I think he's a clown half the time.
So give me the Mount Rushmore of the chat then, because and this is a good thing too, because these people obviously don't get the same spotlight because, unless you're in the chat, you're in the chat, So like people on the show obviously normally get more love for the people who call in. So give it to us. And
me being in market research, I love segmentation. So
okay, so here we go.
I love chatting with I love chatting with Stephen Fox. I think it's
Foxy.
Steven.
Okay,
I
so he
enjoy
makes your
chatting
Mount
with him.
Rushmore. Okay.
Number 3.
I enjoy chatting with NC Green.
Ooh, NC Green. I met NC Green at our tailgate this year, right? He's in there.
I enjoy chatting with Jared as well.
Ooh, Jared.
Number 2.
Very nice. All right, and then one
and
last
my number one is a guy I'm actually meeting this Sunday. I really enjoy, and that's Frank.
Number 1.
You're meeting Frank. Frank talked about that, so that's really happening.
We are actually going to watch this shit show on Sunday.
Wow.
Again, go Bengals.
Okay.
I want them to go 0-17. So I've chatted with him offline. He seems like a really good guy, so I'm looking forward to meeting him. So to me, my take is different than others because I know Frank is the only one of the 4 that really calls in, but
True.
I really enjoy chatting with people on the chat more so than listening to the people online. I like listening to Philly online, or I like listening to Indy, even though Indy's takes are ridiculous. And I'm still waiting for the Josh Allen shirt. It's freaking 6 weeks too late. Okay. It's time to wear it, my man.
But shout out to Frank. Frank, by the way, Frank, real quick here is saying same here, Alon. It's down there in Texas, is where Alon.
I live in North Dallas.
Yeah.
You're going to Cincinnati?
No.
They're going together like at a bar to watch a game.
He lives about a half an hour away from me.
Okay.
Yeah, they're just meeting at a neutral place to watch the game is what he's saying.
Fine.
And a shout out to Frank is Frank said that he was doing this. So I'm looking forward to the Frank follow-up post-game call of how it went with Alon. And he told me that he's intrigued to watch a game with you. So we will hear that experience.
I would not be intrigued to watch a game with me. I am a complete curmudgeon. I totally agree with that. I admit it. Okay. And 34-10 Bengals on Sunday. Okay.
Oh,
34-10.
Jesus. All right. Thanks, Alon.
Have a good one, guys.
Jeez, Alou. Hey, by the way, a super chat coming in here from your favorite. It's DNY for life. You love to see it, baby. Let's get this up here on the program. Love it. All right, actually, we'll see if we can get the wow here in a second. Some technical difficulties on my end. So, wow! Not as cool,
Bring
but
your daughter
sorry,
in live and let her do it live.
I know. Yeah, she's asleep right now. Or I would go burst in the room wake her up.
How soon will your young son be ready to do that?
That's a good question. He's developing faster than my daughter. He's
really
bigger.
He's talking faster.
Yeah, he's talking faster. He's bigger. So all those things. So
a lot of the times, boys take much longer to start verbalizing themselves.
Oh, is that true? So okay,
yeah,
there you go. Okay, wow. That's good to know. So okay, let's see. 7 bleeping games, or as Bob would say, 7 fucking games here. Chill with knowing this staff. 7. So he still says there's a lot of time left. Bob, 10 games left.
Hey, they can only get better. They can't get worse.
That I would assume is true, but hey, you never know. I
don't know
reach
because Glenn this week said that he's been sitting down with his staff and asking them, have you been through this kind of thing before? And what did you guys do in that situation?
Yeah. For some reason, my StreamYard is not letting me get to the wow, but it is letting me access this.
J-E-T-S, Jets.
Yes.
Yes,
wow.
my scroll button is unavailable. So, Bob, you're on the bottom row of my video play. So, we may be getting some wows there. Thank you, DNY for life, by the way, for that. Yeah, TBD, he says, on the staff coming in. All right, next phone call. Troy Sturgis is up next. What's up, Troy?
Hey, BG. Hey, Bob. Hey,
nice to meet you, welcome. Bob. We haven't met before.
Yeah. Hey, first off, I've got a few things.
Okay.
Roster. That's our roster. There's been some debate on where we were. We were actually ranked recently at like 28 to 30th.
Yeah, not good. Yeah.
As fans, I'm thinking top 10. Mm-hmm. You know, that's just as a fan, and that's how we are. As a roster, and we got things that contemplate on who we're going to sell off, basically. Who do you really think that's actually worth the sell off?
Who do you think is worth the sell, Bob, at the trade deadline?
Who do I think is worth
worth actually selling, worth actually trading ahead of the deadline?
I guess Breece Hall. I'd like to keep the other pieces. I think again, I'm looking to the future. This year is come and gone. Nothing you can do about it. But it's the pieces that they've got. The other guys are all very young, and they can all get better. And that's the only way that I can look at it. I paid a lot of attention when I wrote my book about the notes that coach and general manager Weeb Eubank wrote and kept in his diary about each of the key guys who became key players. And I read year by year with each evaluation for 65 and 66, et cetera, about how much progress the young guys that he had were making. And yet with some of the veterans like Don Maynard, he was not high on Don Maynard. He thought that Maynard was loafing it because Maynard didn't like to run routes when he wasn't being thrown to. And yet they forced him to do that. In fact, in 65 or 66, they put Don Maynard on waivers to put the fear of God into him. And nobody picked him up, and it's probably because of salary and probably because they figured, if he's not going to be good enough to play with Namath, who is he going to be good enough to play with?
Wow. I never knew that. That's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, well, read my book again. But anyway,
apparently, yeah.
Yeah, it's in there. But yeah, I guess Breece Hall, I mean, that seems to be the likely one. Yeah, I don't want to trade one of our young players for a 4th-round draft pick. I just think that's stupid. Apparently, especially because they can't draft well after the 2nd round, which is an improvement because they used to not be able to draft well after the 1st round.
Well, what do you think about the players that's been here a while and losing a lot?
Quinnen, for instance.
Is that going to affect anything?
I think Quinnen Williams is making a ton of money. Yeah. And I think that Quinnen Williams is a leader on the team. Mm-hmm. If he was one of the malcontents, it'd be another thing. No, we don't have any way of knowing who are the guys who are at this point shrugging their shoulders and going, can't wait for early January so I can get the hell out of here. But Quinnen Williams is not one of those guys. And the guys that are going to be free agents, like his brother, have a lot to play for. And I'd like to see the Jets, re-sign him. One of the guys here last week talked about the fact, well, they're spending $14 million a year on Sherwin. And they won't do the same thing with another linebacker. Well, why wouldn't you if you have 2 excellent linebackers? Now, I don't know. These guys may not be the prototypes for what Glenn wants. I had read when they hired Glenn that they might not re-sign Jamian because he wasn't the big, muscular, bruising linebacker that Glenn prefers.
I believe that, after watching since Quincy's been out and Jermaine's been out, honestly believe that Quincy and Jermaine are more of a leader type in that defense. It
For sure.
Seems like our defenses went several steps back after Jermaine and Quincy was gone.
I love
Quincy's
intensity.
Yeah, right.
I love Quincy's intensity.
Right.
Oh, for sure. It's infectious, So I hope we see him back this Sunday. It's been great to see Jermaine the last 2 weeks. I would just say, to your original question, Troy, about players that could be, flipped ahead of the deadline, man, Breece, and that's the buzziest one apparently according to ESPN, the one that's most likely to be traded outside of Michael Carter, I guess, because that just seems like the Jets are washing their hands and moving on. So, and they have Jarvis Brownlee Jr., so that one seems like that's going to happen. So put that one in a bucket. So that one totally seems like it's happening. But Breece, man, you got no Braylon Allen, and then you'd be giving the keys to the running back franchise to Isaiah Davis, and maybe you're just in this season, you go, what other choice do we have? And we just got to do what we got to do. But that's a tough pill to swallow, especially with Garrett out. I don't know if Garrett's going to play on Sunday. AG gave some level of optimism, but he hasn't been practicing, so that doesn't inspire me that Garrett's suddenly going to be ready for this game on Sunday. So, to envision an offense that potentially has no Breece and no Garrett. Oh, good Lord. That's
I thought to myself this week, what if they trade all these guys? And they have these.
All of them. Oh my God! They have this expansion roster, right?
And they have all these draft picks. Do I really have confidence that they would make the most out of those draft picks? No.
I got Justin Fields. I believe he's coming back, and I really don't know why he wouldn't, because he may be a backup to a
Sure.
QB that we're going to draft this year, probably. Benzie's already on contract. We'll probably end up losing Tyrod. And as far as Aaron Glenn, I think he should get another year. I know he's made a lot of mistakes. And obviously, I mean, as a first-year head coach, they are going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
And we all should have known that coming in.
I think so too.
Anyway, I also agree with Bob and Alon saying the scouts are terrible. You know, I think our scouting is terrible.
They have to be. There's no excuse year after year after year. How could you be so off on guys? I mean, at least hit once in a while.
Right.
But they might hit once every decade.
But it is up to the GMs to actually make the call.
That's true.
Well, they do, but they rely on the scouting reports.
Exactly.
And they send guys out to specifically scout guys, and a lot of the time their attention gets diverted to somebody else that they see playing.
I'd say it's 70% scouts and 30% of the GMs watching and making that call.
The first 2 picks look pretty good. Mason's been very solid, and Armand's been spectacular. So we can only hope that Muji continues to trend in the right direction here, Troy. So,
and we really don't know. Yeah. We really don't know about Mason and Armand because one, we have a quarterback that's holding the ball.
Well, that too.
Two, a quarterback that's holding the ball.
Yeah, those are 2 big factors.
When they draft a quarterback, my biggest concern is who the heck is going to be the quarterback coach who's going to really bring this kid, around and teach him how to be a professional. Right. We have just not solved that at all either.
Heard rumors of Norv Turner maybe coming in.
Yeah, well, his son is on the staff, Scott Turner, so it would make sense whether it's informal or formal. I mean, we could see whether Norv would factor in. And I've been watching America's Team, so the Dallas Cowboys Netflix documentary, and seeing Norv Turner's offensive majesty, while certainly a couple decades ago. So, he's evolved from that, but that's something inspiring too. So he was around Troy and got the best out of Troy. And I loved that Troy Aikman talked about it on this doc about Norv challenged him and said, like, he forced him to speed up his processing, which was an issue for Troy early on in his career. So that's a lot of interesting stuff. So I'd be all aboard Norv being a part of that brain trust. With his son already being there, that makes a lot of sense. It could be one of those combos we see, Troy.
Right on. Well, guys, I got to get out of here.
Troy, don't be a stranger.
Appreciate you. Give it to us.
First of all, there is so many. There's a lot.
Of course.
I'm going Pep.
Okay.
Pops.
Yep.
Indy.
Okay.
Philly Noodle.
Okay.
Chef Kev.
Okay.
I've got to have a villain, Alan, which I love a lot of his takes, but kind of a villain.
Yeah.
And I got to put EZ down there on
Easy. I like that. I like the easy inclusion. That's a good one.
All right, guys.
Appreciate you, Troy. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, so that was like a top 7, but I like that we're giving shout outs to people. If maybe before the end of the show, I've never thought of putting a Mount Rushmore of collards and how I would put it. I'll have to continue to marinate. We'll do that before the end of the show for sure. But a lot more callers to get to. We got another super chat here from GNY for Life. Let me get that up here, and we got this back. I was able to fix the technical glitch, so we'll give you 2 of these.
Wow.
So nice, say it twice.
Wow.
Do you think we keep Quinnen without his brother? That's a complicated part of this, that Quincy is set to be a free agent. I think unlikely to bring him back, and Troy and Bob said it too, that we love his energy and I love his physicality and intensity and all those things. I love him. But unless Quincy's going to take a sweetheart deal, which why would he? He wants to get paid handsomely, as he should. Like, I don't think the Jets are going to give him the money. They just paid Jamian, so they're not going to pay 2 off-ball linebackers that kind of money. And then how does that affect the negotiations with Quinn and his brother, who I'm sure has really enjoyed to, be around his brother? So complicated. I think there is a world they could keep Quinn without Quincy, because guess what? They started their careers that way. Quincy was in Jacksonville, and in New York was Quinn.
Where's Quinnen going? He's under contract.
I guess just that he makes a big stink potentially in theory, and then all this.
So. He's a team leader, and he won't be happy necessarily that his brother is gone, but you move on.
Yeah, hopefully he is professional about it. But again, if he pushes the envelope, the Jets may have no choice but to flip him to somebody else. We do have over 300 people in the room. Make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe. That is the free way to contribute to the show. Appreciate the super chats coming through. But again, free way to contribute is hitting up the like button. So make sure you guys smack that right now. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. Up next, we have your favorite, Bill Ameley, baby.
Hey, how's it going? Bill? Hey. Good morning.
I like the cap, the ball cap too. Very nice, Bill. That's a nice addition. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
I agree. I actually agree with Alan, but I've mentioned it before too, that we have an issue with developing players in general, or finding good players in general between our scouting staff and some of our coaching. It's been a huge problem, and I'm hoping that Muji can probably bring in some of his own people to replace these guys, because this is crazy. We've been going through this for decades, not years, decades.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then shout out to the Giants with Scatterboo. He reminds me of John Riggins.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
What a pull! I love that.
Oh my God, it's terrible that Riggins, the Jets just let him go to the Redskins. Amazing. He was a very solid player, and I only hope he got over his alcohol issues, because I know that was a thing hurting him in his latter years. Then I believe some of it football related, between the injuries and all the other things he went through. So I can imagine. Anyways, as far as JJ goes, I have a feeling no team wants to give the Jets a second or third round pick because of the Achilles. It's like, well, what guarantee do we have that this man won't get seriously injured again? Maybe they're going to offer the Jets a 6th or 7th round pick, and the Jets are like, thanks, but no thanks. So at least thank God there's some common sense there. I just had a crazy thought in my mind, but Alan will go delusional if I say, imagine if the Jets actually won the last 10 games and made the playoffs.
Yeah, there you go. Alon really loves that.
Can you imagine the negative guys tearing up the bags that they had over their heads?
That's true. The mock draft and everything. That's a good point.
Yeah. No, and then you'll have the new group that go, oh, they ruined it again. Now we're not getting that number 1 pick. Oh,
that's true.
Idiots.
Wouldn't that be crazy?
Yeah.
I like that. Hey, Bill, by the way,
I'll tell you, Big Nick would be happy if they won 10 in a row. He'd take that in a heartbeat.
Sure, as would I, for that matter. That would be terrific. Hey, Bill, you got to give us your Mount Rushmore real quick. Go ahead.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so we'll start off
number
with
4.
Johnny Boy would definitely be on it.
Johnny Boy, okay, I like that pick. Very nice.
Number 3.
Philly Noodles, okay, let me get another one.
Hep.
Number 2.
Okay, and then your last one?
Good question. My number 1.
Yeah.
I'll go Indy Jets.
Number 1.
One person that came to mind, but he hasn't called in that much is, was it Florida Phil?
Oh, yeah, FL Phil 98. Yeah, he's a quality over quantity guy. Yeah, he's calling all the time. But I do like his calls.
Guy. He even had his own song for the Jets. Which
that's true. I had that in the hopper, so he'd be in my Mount Rushmore for sure. Philium, I like Phil a lot. He just brings a different vibe. Again, he doesn't call it all the time, which makes me appreciate it more. It's like the playoffs of the Jets. It doesn't happen every year, but when it does, I'm like, oh yeah, wow, that's nice. So that's nice.
Yeah. Shout out to your little one. My son is leaving tomorrow to San Antonio to visit my little one.
Okay.
He'll be 8 next week, so he's going to be there for a birthday, which will be nice.
Nice.
So shout out to Mia Luna, my grand.
Hey, there we go, baby. Love.
So everyone have a good weekend. Let's hope the Jets finally turn this goddamn thing around, even in spite of the media, in spite of the coaches or any other thing. Let's see them win the next 4 or 5 games, just so that either we have something to celebrate or something.
Hey Bill, do you have some? Oops, Okay,
Nope.
we'll get it next week.
Oh, okay, yeah. We'll calm down the masses, hopefully, with some of those wins. Here's his Mount Rushmore. Johnny Boy is with us.
Ooh, Johnny is not happy about Mount Rushmore so
He
far.
should be. Bill just put him on his.
Oh yeah. I gotta. I'm gonna do mine real quick.
Okay, wait. Let me get the numbers ready. Okay, go.
Number 4.
I'm gonna shout out to the OGs, the original 4 that I've been rocking with you for a while. So Chef Kev's there.
Number 3.
Go ahead and Jerry B.
Okay, Jerry
Number 2.
Because of the song.
Oh,
and let's not
okay,
forget
and then finally
Number 1.
Let's not forget about Snowball. Snowball does
yeah.
all of the emojis and everything.
That's true.
And in the background when nobody's talking about that too. So when
That's
everybody's
true.
like, "Oh, let's get this
100%.
new emoji," that's the guy.
Yeah, who does that?
You know.
Who does that? Snowball does that. 100%. Good love there. Yeah, good love. Overlooked. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. But shout out to Bill, man. Bill's a good dude. I always like his takes because he brings the old school takes and stuff like that.
Okay.
So,
I like that.
Real quick, the Aaron Glenn about trading everybody.
Yeah,
he pretty much said it to us in the very beginning when he came. Don't be shocked or worried or whatever when he gets rid of more people that he's going to be getting rid of. So he said that from the jump. So I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing a whole bunch of people out. Now, this game coming up, doesn't it feel almost like that Philadelphia Eagle game where Bryce Hall, that scoop touchdown, and we won the game
Denver
that we were not supposed to win.
Right.
They had Brown, they had Smith, right? They had Hurts during this time and everything, and we ended up winning a game that we weren't supposed to, just to give the fan base hope.
Yes.
And Russia be like, "Oh, snap, here we go," and then we come back to earth again. So
Joe Flacco may be playing to be our backup quarterback next year.
Gross. No, thank you. But I would say, though, if we get this win, the good news is because of our bye week next week, we would get to really savor this one because in this NFL league, it just moves so quick, right? Jets beat the Bengals, and let's remove the bye week and they play the Browns immediately. We only get to celebrate it for like 24 hours and boop, got to move on. In this world, if we beat the Bengals, we get it for 2 weeks. That'd be great.
Yeah, exactly. So I got those vibes, man. I'm like, oh, man, here we go. It's gonna be that Eagles game all over. But last thing, and I wanted to ask Bob this, because Bob was coming on here.
Sure.
Now he's been talking about that this regime can't draft people and et cetera, et cetera.
Sure.
But Malachi Moore is turning out to be something.
Oh yeah, he looks
right.
Yeah.
Kiko is turning out to be something.
Oh sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So Aaron Smith is the one that I really can't talk too much about because he hasn't been utilized.
We can't evaluate him.
Yeah,
like our quarterback's been so terrible, it's impossible to evaluate. So maybe Tyrod gives him a chance. So, but I think that one's incomplete. So I agree.
Hey, they tried to throw a long one to him last week.
Yeah,
they should have been doing it, and
they should have been
it.
doing it. And that was clearly on the one to Aaron, like at the beginning of the game. Again, I reference it as a 12-year-old playing Madden who picks a play, and he's like, I'm pressing square. I don't care what the coverage is. As soon as I hike that ball, I'm pressing the square button for all our video gamers out there. And that's just it. He just went, and threw it. And I was like, it's exciting at first when someone throws a deep ball, right? The camera's catching up. I'm like, someone's got to be wide open. Why else would he be throwing it down there? And then it skips on the ground. I'm like, oh, double covered.
But the play last week, was that deflected off his hands, or did he just not make a difficult catch? Or did they knock it out of his hands?
He burnt the corner, right? You're talking about the one that was on the right side. Yeah, he burnt the corner.
Yeah.
The ball was underthrown
For
he
sure.
had to come back to it to fix himself. That gave enough time for the corner to get back up in his pocket and then deflect it off.
Yeah.
So there's something there, but again, he's not being utilized really well. So it's time for the scouts are the ones that I feel like need to be essentially kicked off, right? Like I need they're still here. They're from the old regime, and there's a lot of them that are still here. Get those guys out and
It's probably very difficult to basically drop. I don't even know how many college scouts they have, but maybe it's a half a dozen, maybe it's a dozen.
Muji did switch some, so and that's the hard part, right? So Muji gets hired so late in the process, relatively speaking. I'm not making fun of the Jets. It's just when you hire people, they've been doing their draft work for 8 months. Muji can't get rid of those guys. You have to base it on them.
Yeah.
And then they did the draft, and then he removed some people and switched some people out, and now we're getting ready for this process. Maybe some more get removed after the draft, so we could see some more scout shuffling.
And maybe the guys who really strongly recommended Moore and the linebacker and whatever, maybe they got, well, I'm sure that they've got a plus, next to their name and saying, okay, this guy found us somebody good, so he's okay. But, we don't know what they were told about,
of course,
some defensive lineman who plays for, to drop a name, Hofstra or North Dakota State or something. I mean, you just don't know.
We don't know, but I would just say this, Johnny boy, Aviators look great. Thanks for the snowball shout out. And thanks for the love, and thanks for the shout out for Kiko and Malachi Moore. There's been some nice little finds there on day 3 of the draft for sure. All right, let's squeeze in one more call to wrap up the show, and then I've got other video interview obligations to do. So let's get one last call on here. It's our main squeeze for all things Jets. It's Ricky New York Live, baby. What's up, Ricky?
Good morning, Ricky.
Hey, how you doing, Bob? BG,
I'm good.
Good to see you guys this morning.
How's your podcast going?
It's going. It's going. It's it's kind of like the Aaron Glenn regime. It's slowly building up steam. So
hey, Ricky, quick question. I'm going to bring you full screen here. Whose hair is that? What's going on there, right there?
That is a prop for a upcoming episode.
Ooh, okay. All right. So a nice tease. All right, good for Ricky New York Live, the YouTube channel. All right, can't wait. All right.
Yes. So yeah, we're getting there. It's coming along. There have been a few bumps in the road, but it's progressing, and a few technical issues aside, I really think the last couple of shows were probably some of the better ones. Kind of coming into my own, and yeah, so it's going well. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, go ahead, Ricky.
As far as this Jets thing goes, and the scouting that's been an issue for a while, like Glenn they didn't have their scouts this last time around, so I think that will be better as we move forward. But if there was anything that I would critique Glenn for, it would be for not yanking Justin Fields at halftime in the Denver game. Right. I think he waited too long to pull him out. The other thing would be this quarterback non-disclosure thing that he's doing, like I mean, I'm sure that opposing DCs aren't sitting at home, losing sleep. It's like they're probably sitting at home chuckling, like so we're either going to get the backup or the fuck up, and I've been kind of harsh with Justin Fields, but man, that Denver game was so bad. Yes. That was so bad, and it feels very much like history is repeating itself. Talking about Justin Fields, man, he's got all the physical tools, but mentally he's just not there. I mean, didn't we just say that about Zach Wilson? Like it feels all too familiar in that respect. Yeah. But the thing is too is I hear all these people, the people that want to say like, oh, we should have kept Rodgers. Rodgers would have undermined everything that they're trying to build had he stayed here. And had we started 0-3, he would have been on McAfee ripping this regime and just blowing everything up. I think it was the right move. There were not a lot of enticing options out there, and so we rolled the dice on a guy, and we just simply picked the wrong guy.
100%.
That being said, and it's tough, but in this day and age of instant gratification, we're building for the long haul.
Yes.
If we kept Rodgers, we may have won more games than we're going to this year with Fields. But then what? Then we start over again. Like, why put off the reset? For one more year. Which unfortunately with Fields, it looks like that's exactly what we're doing anyway. But and the other thing is people need to have some perspective on the Aaron Rodgers thing. Like, yeah, Rodgers has played decent. However, like looking at their record, dude, they're in a division with Baltimore, who's got turned into a 1-win team, and Cincinnati and Cleveland, both of which are not good.
Right.
And I think it's kind of skewing the numbers a little bit.
Sure.
But yeah, Glenn's building something that Glenn's playing the long game. He doesn't want to just win some games this year and then have to start building again next year. Like it's kind of a slow burn, but he wants to build something that it's going to win year after year after year. And I respect it. As far as there was a lot of different calls, put ideas in my head as I was waiting to come on. At one point I thought, hey, I think we'll keep Quincy, and because I'm thinking like, Aaron Glenn is going to think back to his time.
Whoops.
Ricky? Oh, wow. Ricky cut out there. I don't know what happened. Ricky? All right. We just lost Ricky. Well, Ricky was going to be our last caller, so sorry about that, Ricky. I don't know what happened there with the technical thing. He just bounced out of there. Well, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Thank you to the 300 people in the room. Don't know what technical difficulties just happened there for Ricky. Sorry for that, buddy. You were in the middle of your point. But like the video, hit subscribe. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We got plenty of NFL content coming on the MC Show digital channel. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Take